On many sites, engineers and delivery teams are just thrown a bunch of plans or given a copy of the master schedule and expected to go forth and deliver results. The problem with that approach is that the master schedule is often planned far in advance and by people who aren't there to respond to the daily changes happening on site. In order to stay on top of the project, you need more detailed, more responsive plans. And what's more, those plans need to be owned by the people who are actually responsible for delivering them. Hi everybody, I'm Joe from Apex, the construction scheduling software that helps delivery teams quickly build their short-term plans. In this video, we're going to be looking at why delivery teams should own their plans, and we'll even be talking through a few best practices from teams that have had success from taking this approach. As with all of our videos, you'll get the most out of it if you stick around for the whole thing. But if you want to skip ahead to a particular section, then you can do so using the timestamp bar at the bottom of the screen. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way, you'll get an update every time we upload a video, and apparently it makes us look good at our jobs. Now, as I mentioned a minute ago, engineers and delivery teams need to own their plans. But what exactly does that mean? Well, it means they need to be empowered to build short-term plans, set their own targets, and be held accountable for their outcomes. If you've been around the construction industry for a while, then you might have seen this kind of thing in action. Think first principles planning, the last planner system, or most models that make use of short-term scheduling. Making sure delivery teams take ownership of their plans typically leads to 4 distinct benefits. Benefit number 1, improved communication. By holding regular meetings to discuss, document, and analyze the team's plans, you naturally encourage better communication. This results in better short-term plans with fewer clashes, which keeps the project running smoother. Benefit number 2, identify early signs of issues. With delivery teams working on plans, setting targets, and tracking progress, it becomes much easier to identify potential issues that could have evolved into more significant problems and delays on the critical path. Benefit number 3, highly engaged team members. It's no secret that hitting targets and deadlines is a difficult challenge. Even more so when those targets are plucked seemingly out of thin air and by people who aren't directly responsible for the outcome. When delivery teams have planned, set, and promised to achieve targets themselves, they tend to be more engaged. They tend to care more because there is a sense of pride involved, and in turn, they perform better than they would have if they were working on somebody else's plans. Benefit number 4, better understanding of the project. Because engineers and delivery teams are logging day-to-day activities, managing reports, and checking in with each other, they tend to have a better understanding of the project. As a result, it's easier to work out labour needs, materials, and equipment. This saves your project from overspending and prevents delays. A quick side note, if you're looking for more ways to drive productivity on your project, then we've got you covered. You'll find a video talking through the 5 actionable steps you can take for a more productive delivery team linked in the description below. Now, before we jump into best practices, it's worth noting that having your delivery team build and own their plans with things like short-term schedules is not a replacement for the master schedule. And it's important to remember that the two things work in tandem. First, the master schedule is broken down and used to build short-term plans and set targets. Then, those short-term plans are used to track changes and identify issues that can be fed back into the master schedule. When thinking about best practices, there are 3 major things to consider when having your delivery teams own their plans. The first is routine. A well-structured weekly reporting routine ensures consistency across your project and encourages communication between team members. Hosting a series of regularly scheduled meetings throughout the week makes it easy to stay on top of your project. This also helps avoid potential clashes and identify early signs of issues before they lead to delays on the critical path. The second thing to consider is performance tracking. It's all well and good handing the responsibility of short-term scheduling to the delivery team, but without tracking the project's performance, you'll never reap the full benefits of the process. Key metrics and KPIs, such as % plan complete, can help you stay on top of your project and get the most out of having your delivery teams own their plans. If you're not familiar with % plan complete, we've made a video about that as well. You'll find a link in the description below. The third thing to consider is using the right software. Now, it is possible for teams to build and own their plans using things like spreadsheets. And if that's the only thing available, then you should still do it. The important thing is that empowering engineers to make their own plans and set their own targets will make your project run smoother. That being said, if you want a tool that's actually been built to manage this process and prevent you from wanting to bang your head against the wall, then check out Apex. It's free to start and just takes a few minutes to set up your first project. And that's it. If you've gotten this far, then I'm sure you can see how empowering delivery teams just makes good sense. If you decide to give it a go, then make sure to put solid routines in place, track your performance, and use software that's suitable for your project. That's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. The important thing is that empowering engineers and delivery teams to own their own plans and set their own targets, I forgot the rest of the line.